Hello and welcome back to the world of Craig. Yes, I'm Craig. This is my channel, obviously, where we get into all things hair and sometimes a little bit of beauty. I hope that you guys are all well. It's a beautiful spring day here. I hope that the lighting isn't too distracting because the sun is out shining outside. Still chilly, but the sun, hence the jumper. And the sweater is mine, not Freddy Krueger's or Dennis the Menace. It's a beautiful day outside, but without further ado, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, now you've already seen the title of this video, and you may or may not know that I've been hairdressing now for over 30 years, 33 this summer, and using this product for over 20, and that product is Shades EQ Gloss. Now I've got a bowl of processing solution here, and obviously the iconic 60ml of the Liquid Demi. One of the first Liquid Demis, if not the first, that was formulated in the 80s. I think it was 1989, full of information, and the formula hasn't changed since. Now, if you're a colorist yourself, I'm sure you've heard of this. You may have used this before, or you may be thinking about using it and want some more information. Well, I thought we'd have a kind of fun but info-packed video where I share some kind of true and falses, if you like. I get lots of DMs regularly on my Instagram, which is popping up here, which has also got lots of free education, formulas, how-tos, some Shades EQ formulas as well. And I often get DMs on correct usage. And whenever I have a live on my Instagram, where we often talk about hair color, obviously, then I get lots of questions and people are really passionate about this product. But I thought that we would, get into some kind of do's and don'ts, if you like. Stop rambling, Craig. Let's get on with the video. Swiftly, before we get into the Shades EQ bonanza, just to mention that if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please give it a like, stop it, and also make sure you're subscribed. And when you do subscribe, if you choose to, obviously, hit that bell notification, and that means that you will see everything that's coming on my channel. The algorithm here is such that if you don't, you might not, and then you might miss out, and that would be terrible. Okay, on with the Shades EQ bonanza. Yes, I'm sat here clutching my little bottles of Shades EQ Gloss. It's so funny how comforting, is that the right word? But having these here in the flat with me makes me want to get back to work even more. Soon, Craig, soon, 2 more weeks. So the first thing that I get a lot, or I get asked a lot, or we talk about a lot as colorists, is that it's about the way to do with Shades EQ Gloss, how it processes. And I often, on my lives on Instagram, get people that say, oh my goodness, I've read some of your formulas, some of your posts, and you process all your Shades EQ Glosses for 20 minutes. And I do. But whether you're new to the product or you've used it for a while, I find that a lot of hair colorists tend to process it for less. Because the way that this product is very cleverly formulated is it contains a mixture of demi-permanent colour, it's a demi-permanent colour, and direct dye. Now it's often the direct dye, it is the direct dye that develops first. So you see it in the bowl when you mix the product up, and you see it when you start to apply it to the hair, and it can look darker than you think it's going to be. So often people can apply Shades EQ Gloss, not panic, but get a little bit unnerved, if you like, by it looking darker as they're applying it, and process it for less than 20 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that processing it for less than 20 minutes is wrong. It's up to you. You process it for up to 20 minutes. But if you want maximum deposit and you want to cancel or neutralize something, it is recommended that you process something for 20 minutes. Now, if you've been to my Instagram before or you've watched any other videos on here, I am a stickler for following manufacturers' guidelines. And the guidelines on Shades EQ Gloss is that if you do, like I've already said, if you want that maximum deposit, or you're trying to neutralize, let's say, orange warmth, something on a level 8, and you're using something from Shades EQ like a VB and an N mix, perhaps, maybe a VB, an NA, and an N mix, which is one of my favorites for neutralizing orange warmth. Lots more on my Instagram. There's some Shades EQ videos here too. In fact, I'll pop one of them up there now. If you're using it to be corrective, as a lot of people use that term in hairdressing, hair colouring, then it's best to process it for longer. You have to trust the process, get to understand how Shades EQ Gloss works, swatch it out, or try it out on some models if you've never used it before. I think swatching is a brilliant thing, obviously, because I'm swatching like crazy all the time. And learn to trust it, learn to know how it processes, and hold your nerve, trust the process, and let it process for longer to get the most shine, the most color deposit, and the most cancelling and longevity as well. If you process, Shades EQ Gloss for a bit longer, it's going to last the client longer in the long run, which is great because it's offering better value for money. So don't panic when you see that color processing dark. If you formulated on a light enough level, the product's not going to go dark, and you just need to let it sit on the hair for a little bit longer. Okay, next up, it's a processing solution / developer kind of question. Let's do this one as a true or false. Now, I hear this a lot, okay? True or false? Shades EQ Gloss can be mixed with 10 volume peroxide. Well, actually, that's false. It's not true. And again, it comes down to manufacturer's instructions. It really is important that you use the correct developer, the processing solution. Now, I have never mixed Shades EQ Gloss with 10 volume peroxide or anything else other than processing solution. Interesting side note, there are two different sorts of processing solution now. How many times I'm going to say processing solution? There's this, the original, that I use all of the time. And then there's one that has a thicker kind of gel consistency, which is for precision application, which is really fantastic. We do carry it in the salon as well, but I generally use this one because it's what I'm used to. This for me works with a brush or a bowl or an applicator bottle. Completely your choice of preference at the end of the day as to what you use. Now, if you think about it, okay, from a science point of view, the chemist who formulated Shades EQ Gloss back in 1989 did such an incredible job, and it's a demi-permanent colour, okay? Now, the processing solution contains exactly the right ingredients and the right amount of peroxide. There is peroxide in there, the right amount of peroxide. I can't remember exactly how much there is in there. I'll pop it on the screen just there. In order to lift the cuticle very slightly of the hair, let the colour molecules, a little bit of miming, let the colour molecules go into the hair just far enough to deposit the colour to leave the incredible shine, but so that the colour will gradually fade over time. Obviously, how much colour is deposited and how quickly it fades depends on processing time, the canvas of the hair, what colour you've used, all of those different things. So there's lots of different factors. But if you mix Shades EQ Gloss with 10 volume, what I would suspect could happen is the cuticle is going to open more, the colour is going to penetrate deeper, more miming, and then that means that you're effectively changing what Shades EQ Gloss is, and it's going to, it could become a slightly different colour, it could process to be slightly darker, it could sit much deeper under the cuticle, so therefore it wouldn't be a demi-permanent colour anymore. There would be more oxidation that goes on, which means that it wouldn't leave the hair, and that could cause you problems in the long run. On a sort of very basic level, I think, when something is so tried and tested and so brilliant and gives such great results, as far as what you mix it with, I would always go with the manufacturer's guidelines. So always mix the liquid demi-permanent colour with the processing solution of your choice. Just briefly as well, following on from the processing solution, it's it kind of goes with that point, if you like. I've often hear that a lot of people like to put Shades EQ Gloss underneath heat. Now, again, if you heat something up, whatever it is, hair colour wise, and you heat it up, the cuticle is going to open more and the Shades EQ Gloss is going to sit deeper into the hair. The cuticle will close, it will trap the colour molecules, all the miming today, it will trap the colour molecules underneath the hair, and therefore the colour will no longer really be a demi-permanent colour. Now, I've heard over the years, lots and lots of people use Shades EQ Gloss to cover grey, if you like, by adding heat to it. Here in the UK, I think it varies from country to country. Here in the UK, the Redken don't advise you to apply heat to any colour at all. So definitely not to Shades EQ Gloss, but just bear in mind that if you are going to apply heat, it's not the manufacturer's guidelines, and it could mean that the colour will become more permanent. Now, let's have another true or false. So, and this is something, one of those kind of hair colour myths I've heard year on, year out. And that is that Shades EQ gloss should always be applied to wet hair. True or false? Well, that is actually another false. Now, I say false, and that sounds harsh, but and it's entirely up to you how you use Shades EQ gloss. But it's not only designed to be applied to damp hair, wet hair. You can obviously use the product at the backwash in an applicator bottle if that's your choice. That's completely fine, and it's a very, very popular way for it to be used. I would always suggest, if you're going to use it on damp hair, that it's very, very well towel dried hair. I've heard before people say that it needs to go on to damp hair, wet hair, because then that makes the hair more, the porosity more even and you get a better result. That's not true either, not strictly true. Again, the canvas that you're using it on and the shade that you're using and how long you process it for makes a massive difference on the result. But personally, I always like to dilute my formula down. So say for instance, I've got someone that's freshly partially highlighted or balayaged and they're at around a level 9, then I would always really gloss on that level 9, or maybe even on a level 10 if I've got nothing that I want to neutralize. Remember, if you're neutralizing with any demi-permanent color or permanent color really, if you're neutralizing something in the hair, then you kind of want to work on the level. But if I have that kind of yellow level 9 and I'm using Shades EQ gloss, I might formulate on a 10. I'll make sure that the formula is diluted enough, which we're going to talk about in a second, diluted enough and sheer enough that if I process it for 20 minutes on dry hair, I get max deposit, I get really high shine results, and the color lasts a lot longer. If you are applying Shades EQ gloss to damp hair, to wet hair, then it won't last as long. Just how long, again, it's going to last if you apply it to damp hair, wet hair, how long is a piece of string? Every different head of hair in every application, every formula is different. So it's impossible to say exactly, but it won't last as long. And it isn't formulated only, if I could speak, put my teeth in, to be applied to damp or wet hair. Damp, dry, it's entirely up to you how you want to use the product. Spring has sprung. Hello. No, it doesn't smell of anything. So if you're here at the end of the video with me, thank you very much. But if you're here at the end, thanks for watching. I think it's pretty obvious that I could go on about Shades EQ gloss until the cows come home. You have to let me know in the comments down below if you have to let me know in the comments down below, that rhymes, if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, because I do have lots more that I could share on the line. But there's something I want to mention before we go that I think is an integral part of the line and makes you so much more creative and can really help you out in salon, and that is crystal clear. Now, I don't know if you can see it, if it's going to focus, but it says here 000, crystal clear. Now, that's because this is the same as the 60ml bottles of Shades EQ gloss, except it's clear. It has no colour in it, if you like. There's no shade to it. It is, once again, crystal clear. There's 500 ml in here, half a litre. We get through a lot of it in the salon. It's something we are never out of stock of in the salon, and I will share with you guys why and how it can help you as well in salon. Be more creative. The first one of those is, picture this. Imagine it's a Saturday, it's super busy, you pull out your client's card and you're about to do a mids and ends refresh. They've had their roots tinted and they're at the backwash, and you pull out the card to have a look at their formula, because we all keep record cards, don't we? Yes. And on the card it says that you need 7N, Shades EQ gloss 7N, but all you have in stock is 5N. Well, then you would take your 5N Shades EQ and you would dilute it, 2 parts. So you have 1 part of the 5N, 2 parts of the crystal clear, and that will give you something that sits around in the realm of, I like to say, a 7N, okay, a level 7. It's impossible to be bang on because the canvas, whatever it is you're mixing up, all of those things play, whether you're putting onto dry hair or to damp hair, all of those things play a part in what that level is going to sit at. But that's kind of how crystal clear works. The other great way that I use it, and I use it a lot, almost every time, is with global bleach outs. So if you look at my Instagram, after you've watched the end of this, obviously, if you look at my Instagram, all of the global bleach outs that you see on there, most of, I would say 90% of them, the formulas are 50% crystal clear. So it might be half crystal clear, and then some 9V and some 9P. That's a very popular one of mine, or 9V, 9P and 9N. You can check all of those out on my grid, obviously. There's someone here as well in other colouring videos, hair colour videos. But that ensures that my formula is going to be light enough, if you like, and it's not going to add too much depth. So the colour, the final bleached result is nice and zingy and bright and still has that kind of translucency. So for me, crystal clear is a must in your colour dispensary. So that's it for our Shades EQ Bonanza. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell, because it means that you'll see everything here coming on my channel. Now, I hope wherever you are in the world that you're all well, sending you lots of love and light. You all take care, and I will see you all in the next one.